Did you think there wasn't anything you could do to increase your chances of conceiving after you had made use of your fertile window? Well, think again, because now it's time to help that baby implant. Hello lovelies, and welcome to another one of my videos in which we'll be talking about what you can do to support implantation when you're already in your 2-week wait. If you've been trying to conceive naturally and you've been charting and you knew exactly when your fertile window opened and you made good use of the time and you spent some time with hubby in the bedroom, then I'm sure that you want to be able to do everything you can to increase your chances of conceiving and supporting the implantation of a possibly fertilized egg after it has traveled down the fallopian tube. So let me give you 6 suggestions to increase the chances of successful implantation and to also keep you busy in this 2-week wait. The first thing you can do is super simple, and that is take the remedy Calc Fluor twice a day. So you take it in a potency 6x, and it is a homeopathic remedy, but in the 6x potency, it can also be called a tissue salt or a cell salt. This is also part of the pregnancy tissue salt program, which I have a post on my website, and I will link it in the description. But Calc Fluor in itself will support the development of the embryo, so it will help the embryo to implant because the development is better, but it also directly supports implantation. Calc Fluor isn't just great for implantation though, it's also fantastic for skin, hair, nails, and teeth, and I use it to support the healing of cavities. So worst case scenario, you are just being busy cosmetically. The second thing you can do is make sure that you keep warm, and I'm saying warm, not hot. Don't take hot baths, don't put a hot water bottle on your abdomen, but make sure that you keep warm, because being warm means that your blood isn't sticky and gooey, but that it's nice and fluid. So it supports circulation. Circulation is super important for the uterus and for implantation because that means that there are plenty of nutrients, plenty of oxygen, and that the egg can implant nicely in there. So instead of a hot water bottle or a hot bath, what you can do is make sure that your feet are warm. Didn't your grandmother ever say, feet warm, body warm? Well, that's exactly the case. So keep nice warm socks on or bundle up when you're sitting on the couch. And another thing that I love to do is wear a haramaki, and you wear this around your back and abdomen, and you can purchase this online and from many stores, but it is to keep your kidneys warm. So it's nice for people that have kidney infections, or if you have bladder infections, that is really soothing. But it's fantastic if you're trying to conceive for that 2-week wait, because it keeps everything nice and cozy and makes sure that circulation keeps on going there. Number 3 is gentle exercise. Now that we're on the topic of circulation, we don't just look at keeping yourself warm, but you should be moving around. Don't just hang on the couch and watch Netflix being bundled up and thinking you're doing everything you can. The great thing you can do is just go for walks. Super simple. Go outside, enjoy nature, get some fresh air. Unless you're in the city, then that's not fresh air, but at least you're moving, right? Go look for a park. And another thing you can do is stretching. Gentle stretches, anything really that feels good. The point is that you don't do any vigorous exercise at this time. And if you're thinking, circulation, maybe I should do a fertility massage. No, this is not the time to be doing that. That is fine for after your period and until ovulation, but don't start digging around that area if you think that you might be pregnant. The impact of number 4 is, in my opinion, highly underestimated, and that is rest. In the olden days, resting when you were pregnant was quite normal, but these days it seems like we think we just need to keep on going. And if you're trying to conceive, you should be acting as if you're pregnant already, because then you're doing the things that are best for your body. So I really recommend in your 2-week wait to support implantation that you rest. And the reason for this is that in the second half of your cycle, progesterone is dominant, and progesterone is what keeps you from having your flow. So we want progesterone to be at the right levels. However, if you're stressed out, if you're not resting, if you're tired, you're producing stress hormones, and your body will always prioritize stress hormones over sex hormones. So if you want your luteal phase to be long enough, if you want progesterone to be high enough, make sure that you relax and that you rest and get your sleep. On to point number 5, because there are plenty of supplements you can take to support implantation. Because the whole thing with implantation is not just that the egg needs to be strong and that it can develop well so that it knows what to do and how to implant, but you also need the receiving environment, your uterus, your little baby box, to be receptive. So the endometrial lining needs to be a-okay, and it needs to be nice and thick and squishy and nutritious. So if you've already been taking the supplements I'm about to mention, fantastic, because it's best to start even before you start trying to conceive to make sure you have good quality eggs. Because if your egg is good quality, then your embryo will also be good quality, and that will support implantation. But I'll be doing another video soon about how to prepare your body for implantation. Right now we just want to know what to do when you're already in your 2-week wait, right? So if you haven't started with supplements, now is the moment to start. The first supplement you can take is vitamin C, because that supports progesterone production, and we just talked about that. We want progesterone to be nice and high to give your egg the time to implant. The second vitamin you can take, and that is especially important if you're living in the northern hemisphere, and especially if you have darker skin, and that is vitamin D. Vitamin D we can make under the influence of sunshine, but if we're never outside or covering up or slathering on sunscreen, then we might not be producing enough vitamin D. And the funny thing is, although we call it a vitamin, vitamin D is a hormone. And vitamin D is important for cell growth and cell function. And since a little embryo is basically a bunch of cells, you want to make sure that those cells do the best they can, right? And they grow properly. So partially the vitamin D is for the embryo to have it nice and strong so it can implant. But on the other hand, your endometrial lining, where the egg is supposed to land and implant, is also built up of cells. So to make sure that those cells grow and function properly, you need vitamin D as well. What comes after C and D? E, of course. So the third supplement that I recommend is vitamin E. You might know vitamin E because it's good for your skin, right? Makes it nice and stretchy. Well, it's the same for a uterine lining. If you want it to be nice and thick, you need to have topped up on vitamin E. And last but not least is the fatty acids. And a great way to take that is through fish oil, but there are also vegetarian alternatives like krill oil or flaxseed oil. Just make sure you do some research. Fatty acids are super important for the development of the brain of your baby, but in general, it's important for cells, because if you have a cell and you don't have enough of the fatty acids, the membrane of the cell becomes rigid. So it's very difficult for toxins to come out and for nutrients to come in. So if you want that membrane to be nice and squishy, you need to make sure you have enough fatty acids. Thirdly, fatty acids are important to reduce inflammation in your body. And if there's inflammation going on in your uterus, there's always the risk that your uterus will reject the embryo because it's just in an alert state and it's trying to attack everything that seems foreign, including an embryo. So if you are topped up on fatty acids, inflammation will go down, your uterus is nice and calm and ready to receive baby. And fourthly, what fatty acids do fits in right with the circulation that I've already been talking about, and that is that fatty acids help the blood flow towards the uterus. Now that you know what to do to support implantation, even though you're already in your 2-week wait, you know exactly what to do to give your pregnancy the best start possible. And I sure hope that this is your month and that within 2 weeks, you'll be able to get that big fat positive pregnancy test. If you want to learn more about fertility and how you can boost it naturally, make sure to click on the playlist on your screen right now. Also make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for new videos every Thursday so you can learn to become more vital and fertile. And in the meantime, see you in the next video. Bye!